Unjustified's pick, so they will be starting on the attacking half. Let's see what they can do to make a dent in the game of Gladiators early on. Game of Gladiators, of course, making the addition of William since the last season. And he plays a pretty deady entry role a lot of the time, but here on the CT side, obviously that doesn't matter. George going for a little peek out the bedroom. We'll get his bell rung, but he'll be able to slip away just in time before he gets chased down by those blocks. He's quite low. Might have to take a more passive position, but look at the read here for the game of Gladiators so far. They've got vision down banana, so they've got 4 players postured to receive this hit on towards A. And that was messy, but it worked, and Cynic finds more. He's going to go. Oh, okay. I was wondering whether they'd be showing respect, and the answer is no early on. He didn't push through the smoke, but yeah, no, this is complete disrespect.
Yep. Pretty much, Sloopy, the last one standing, and Jaspimp goes into trade the frag that just came through, and then Jaspimp shows even more disrespect by spamming the body. Why
I think
not?
this team takes particular relish in welcoming new rosters. I really do
too.
Yeah, every season, because they're one of the teams that likes to play their games right off the rip, right? A lot of teams will delay their games or try and push them through the first couple weeks as they get rosters figured out and get more times to scrim and all that. Gaimin's always ready to go, and I do think they enjoy welcoming teams in.
I agree. They're always there in week 1. You're absolutely right. Ooh, nice
all right.
Shot from Cyrix to take down Cynic. The Wandy comes out. Still, it's going to be a tough pass forward, but they have picked up the MP9, and now Jaspim goes down for free, too. Oh, my goodness. Just too easy. Walks up lane. George going to have to do something, and he does get one. Pulls up the utility immediately. Tries to dunk on 8 on sight, and it will connect onto Hitman. 4v3 in favor of Unjustified. George, can he get it? No, he can't finish off the frag. Gets Cyrix down to 1 HP. But you have to imagine, Gaimin Gladiators need to go for this one. They have the weaponry, and they have the utility, or at least had it. They just used it.
I actually am not sure here. Right? I mean, the damage is done, but do they know? And without smokes, without something to get them onto the site, it's all going to be down to the shooting, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it. I do like them retakes. And here comes the hit. B-Will's traded out 1 for 1. Now the rifles will back away.
They fell off.
Yeah, they don't want this. They don't want this heat. They're walking out of it. Carson might actually get caught. Woo! Oh, Sloopy! Overlooked him a little bit. That'll be at least one more player punish. Only one survivor, but a huge round to take for Unjustified. The disrespect play was attempted by Cynic down mid, and he got his bell rung. Fluffed the nade to begin with, by the way, as well. Caught the edge of one of the balconies there, and then just gets annihilated, and that's what opens up this round. So maybe Gaimin need to be considering their plays just a bit more.
Yeah, there was no reason to really peek down mid at all. Maybe an info peek, but that's it. And, well, Cynic gets a little more than that, and then a bullet to the dome. So, Gaimin Gladiators give up a round, and Unjustified at least showing that they are a team that needs to be respected. Cyrix, in particular, of course, he's the one to be on the lookout for some crazy plays. Carson and B-Wills towards that B site, now going to be backing off. I did like the quick execute coming through from Unjustified, and they're going to do it again. Just too easy. Finds one, and Hitman is second. Then Sloopy drops in. It gets done. Yeah, Gaimin are already on the save.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can at this point with a little bit of cash starting to build up. Unjustified look like they're hungry to try and take these guns out of their opponent's hands. It's actually interesting to see how quick they go onto that hunt. So Gaimin potentially in a tough way, at least to start this map out. Love to see it. One of the things we talk about with teams that are underdogs, right, is you have to force them to respect you early. And this is a good way to force them to respect you, especially if you take Carson's gun out of his hand, and that's exactly what they'll do. Upgrade available there for Sloopy. Really nicely done for Unjustified. So Gaimin now taking an eco, majorly on the back foot, and maybe reevaluating their approach to this game.
Sorry, I think that said it was Cyrix that got the deagle. It was actually Sloopy, right? Anyway, doesn't matter.
I don't know. Someone got it.
Doesn't matter. They did. Someone did. Irrelevant. 2-1 for Unjustified Gaming is relevant, and these quick plays have been what have caught Gaimin Gladiators off guard, and they lost all their guns in that previous round too. Nothing saved over. Great chase pulled off by Unjustified. Now they got an A1S, 2 AKs, an MP9, and the MAC-10. Their money's starting to build as well. Gaimin Gladiators, on the other hand, nada. USPs across the board. And one thing, Mike, that... Oh, George is going to get Gush down to 37. But what I was going to say was one thing I'm wondering is maybe they're trying to make that adjustment to a more structured team, and Semphis is trying to force them into discipline, and that's why the results have been a little less than the usual than what you'd expect from Gaimin.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
changing your philosophy, adjusting things. I know, Cynic was originally trying to bring in more structure with his calling and his emphasis. While it seems clear that the org wants to be much more disciplined as a unit, right? That transition, that philosophical transition, does take time. If your players are used to sending it down mid, well, you tell them no. Sometimes you do need to figure out how to play within more structure, right? There's a freedom to being able to do what you want in the individual moment, as opposed to thinking about how it's going to affect your greater unit. Just too easy is going to make some money here. Maybe. Yeah. More money? More cash?
Money.
Money. Running around while reloading is not the move, but here we go. Okay. More money. Yes. Very much available. Cash flow.
Decidedly so. Yeah, pretty easy round there for Unjustified. Gaimin Gladiators just had the USPSs, but here we go back to the rifles in the game inside, and the question is, what are they going to favor this time? Do we see another push down mid by Cynic, who tends to be very mercurial, to say the least, and decides to do things that might not be in the best interest of the team? But again, maybe that's going to be completely stomped out by the coach, Semphis. We'll see. 4 players on the Gaimin Gladiators going to be stacked up here on the A side. You do see Jaspim just peeking around. He ended up in Boiler now instead of going around mid, and now that Molotov's going to force them back. Another quick hit from Unjustified, so they're not giving Gaimin Gladiators any type of breathing room, and I gotta say, I like it. Just Too Easy is going to get a headshot onto George, but Jaspim trades it out. That's still some space opened up towards the apartments, but Unjustified are now into bracket, and they have to make a move, otherwise they will stall out, and then Gaimin could try to pull in on the flank, which hasn't happened just yet. And you see Unjustified do manage to sneak their way into Boiler and go into the apartments. They might not actually hit all out from the apartments, and it looks like they're just going to split their efforts here. Oh, the delay is great too. It pulls 2 players off, Mike.
What does this read? They have no information to trigger this, and now as Jaspim gets his bell rung by JS Feltner, that's the site wide open. Gaimin. They had everything in terms of positioning, but that hesitation from Unjustified was enough to pull them off the site, and now Gaimin, they're going to save.
That's actually a really good play. I got to give Unjustified a lot of credit there, because Gaimin just figured, hey, look, they were scared of us. They didn't want to engage any further. They probably backed off and went to the B site and tried to pull off a rotate, but no. They were just waiting there, clearing out the apartments, making sure no one would have visibility on their positioning, and then waited just a few extra seconds. And once the rotation came through, it was only Jaspim left on the site, and they took care of him very handily. So Unjustified on off to a very hot start, Mike.
Hot start indeed. 4-2-1. And of course, the economy very much in the dumps for Gaimin. So how are they going to adjust? Force buy around these 2 rifles. Obviously, the loss bonus at this point has built up all the way even. They can drop a couple of guns. Not quite all the way. 2,900, I suppose. Coming on in. Counting is hard. Yeah, they'll have max loss bonus. So drop guns over. They can make it happen in this round. There'll be major limitations in terms of utility, but what do they want to do? Carson goes in on nades. No, it seems like they're going to just upgrade and keep everybody above 2K. Interesting. Taking the conservative call here are the Gaimin Gladiators, but a lot of util set up means that they could actually make something happen here, even if 2 players are on pistols. Cynic, what is this?
Why?
That's wild. Wanted to go for the really bold bedroom peek, and he just dies to the Molotov, tagged by an HE as well. They predicted it, and Cynic is going to go ahead and be dead. Pistol lost. That's less of a tragedy, but it was one of the armored pistols. But let's see if George can catch somebody. He's made noise. Did they hear him? No. Oh, he could catch himself with gun here. He's going to. Chase Feltner had no idea, but the problem is the site has been lost. It's going to be brutal to attempt this retake.
They're not going to.
No.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Unjustified impressing here. Going to be up 5-1. And Unjustified is actually an interesting team. Let's talk about their advanced story a little bit while we have a moment. And they only
Sure.
went 9-5. It wasn't anything extraordinary in the regular season, right? 5 losses. Didn't necessarily have the success they were hoping for, given the roster they had put together specifically for last season. But then the playoffs, oh my goodness, 6-2. And that second loss only came in the grand finals against Mythic, who did beat them quite handily 3-0, but still that was Mythic with Freak and Cooper playing on the roster, and Flop, of course, as well. So, kind of to be expected against that caliber of player, even if they are getting on in the years, but still Unjustified. They are showing me something early on. It's still very early, right? We've seen this type of success happen for a lot of move-up teams in the early goings of a match, and then it starts to go by the wayside afterwards, but let's see if they can keep it up.
Well, my big question is just, will Cynic stop dying in the first 10 seconds of every round?
This is the problem, Mike.
Right
This is the
now.
problem. He
seems
likes,
like we've got a little bit of a technical pause here, folks. We're just going to be a quick moment, hopefully, to get that one sorted out. Don't know if we have a reason for it. But, yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to see what's going on with Cynic. He's got the AWP in his hands now. Presumably, that's going to require a slower pace of play, though, John.
Yeah, he definitely needs to take a step back. And I feel like Cynic, just the way he is, might be a tougher player to coach than the rest, right? So
maybe.
I don't know if he's rebelling a little bit and just saying, I don't want to do this structure, right? I want to be able to freewheel and do what I want, which he has typically done throughout his career.
But he's calling. He's calling for this team as far as I'm aware, right? So presumably anything that he wants to do, if he wants to set it up, he can call around it.
True.
I believe he's in-game leading this roster. So I don't think it's that. I'd be surprised. I don't know what it is. In the first couple rounds, it was clearly disrespect, right? Got away with it in the pistol and then just kind of tried it again. And then I don't know what it is at this point. Stubbornness. That last one, obviously, he gets timing by the utility, but it's just such a bold, risky move being made without the support of your teammates in the first 10 seconds of these rounds. So I'm curious to see that if he was going to follow the trend, the next thing to do would be to take the ult mid peak with the AWP in this round.
Which he might.
He might. I'm kind of curious now.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they just weren't expecting this type of utility usage from Unjustified either, because it really has been on point. Like those Molotovs were thrown perfectly into window room to deny any type of peek, and I guess Cynic wasn't expecting it. He just walked in there and just wanted to take the aim duels and wasn't allowed to do so. And that's going to be key for Unjustified as they move forward. Try to prevent Gaimin Gladiators from having their way, which they have so far, but it's going to need to be done every single round, because this squad, if you look at their history, you look at their career stats, they are stacked in terms of talent. So for Unjustified, the path forward continues to be tough, but still this start is very nice.
We should be getting going here in just a moment. But yeah, no, it's about as good as you can be hoping for. Just Too Easy looking very good as well. 7-3. Nice to see. Been bringing some domes from within the boiler. That's been JS Feller and Just Too Easy. And yeah, that A defense is really what is suspect at this point, right? They barely even touch B.
I mean, and Unjustified as well. I think one thing that led to that success when they delayed onto A is because they had been so aggressive, right, Mike? Every other time before that, they just took bracket and then immediately pushed up and found the frag. So I guess Gaimin Gladiator said, okay, Unjustified took it easy. They fell back this time because they didn't go for that quick hit, and they realized, whoops, nope, that's not the case, as Unjustified filtered on into A after a brief moment. So good job keeping Gaimin Gladiators on their toes so far. And the break, or timeout, I should say, has now ended, and we jump into the 7th round of action. Just Too Easy, like you mentioned, leading the scoreboard 7-3, and Cyrix right behind him at 4-2. So the two players that have experience playing in ECL really are helping their rookie teammates out.
Yeah, in a big way. Big utility in. I talked about how A has been the Achilles heel so far for the Gaimin Gladiators, but look at this. They stack up on A, and instead Unjustified throw the change-up pitch. With that time taken by the technical pause, they seem to have detected that maybe Gaimin Gladiators would have shifted things up, and it's absolutely the right read. Now, Peebles has started to float back to help out Carson here on the B site, but still somewhat soft. It's an interesting HE to clear the close corner. would be kind of an expected setup. Smoking ahead of them. They're going to go ahead and flash on through. That's a huge jump on the B-Wells. Before the cross smoke blooms, that's a massive one. Now Carson's back in the corner, and he can't get away. And it's annihilation. What a brilliant take there. Utility goes down, and Gaimin Gladiators are caught with all of their util in hands. Now Just Too Easy's even fighting through. He's getting bold. He's getting the disrespect flowing to shut this round down before the retake can even be thought about. Yes, a punish comes through. Finally. But it's way too late, and Jazzpimp gets traded out just after one. It's on to George. They're looking a little shell-shocked here, John. The pace gets picked up by Unjustified over towards B, and it's just annihilation.
Not only, are they looking shell-shocked, they're slow. Carson pulled out that smoke. It took him forever to pull the smoke out and throw it into the Molotov. He lost so much health as a result, and then while he was pulling out that utility, Unjustified closed the gap and found a bullet right for his dome. So, oh boy, okay, 6-1 in favor of Unjustified. Not at all the result I expected coming into this match, or at least up to this point. Let's see if Gaimin Gladiators can use this full loss bonus and get things back into gear. But another great execute. The Molotov thrown for New Box made sure that Carson was isolated from his teammate, and the entry, again, it's Cyrix and Just Too Easy, of course, who are taking this team and putting them on their shoulders. But still, even beyond that point, once the Gaimin Gladiators see the first contact, they're not able to get the trades they usually do.
There we go. Cynic gonna connect, but there's players close at hand. He's stuck around. Most operators would dip down the hallway after taking that first shot. He wants more of a fight. Straight down here for George. Needs to win this fight and doesn't. It's a bit of a problem here. Now it's gonna be on the Jazzpimp. Cyrix, and it's pressured upon. Nice trades here from Unjustified. They're losing the bodies, though, and look at that health remaining on the last two. Barely 20 points of health between them. Now not 7. And a nade in will finish it off. Getting into the pit. It's going to be tough here for Sloopy. I don't even know that he's getting out of it. He's brought it into a 1v1, but this HE should finish it. And it... What? Must have hit the hay card? I think know. Either way, it's fine.
Well, I think it clipped the side of that tiny half wall.
I don't know, man. HEs are fictional. They're mythical creatures. At least Gaimin Gladiators do manage to bring that round through, but with only one player surviving, it's again going to be a brutal economic situation.
Yeah, at least they have the AK saved over, which gets dropped, and the A1Ss are, of course, cheaper than the A4, and since they've come into prominence now in terms of their usage, well, there's at least that for the CT side economy, so not as brutal of a buy-up as you might expect, given how they've been losing these rounds, but still, should Unjustified come back here and pull another one off, it will be tough for the Gaimin Gladiators to recover after that point. JS Felter will be the first victim, from B-Wills. One thing to note, Mike, is Cynic did back off and play more passively in the previous round, not the one we just saw, but the one before that, and then said, you know what, I'm just going to charge through the apartments with the op, and he does get the opener, but I think he was a little too gutsy there with that read.
Yeah, it's the shot and then not dropping.
Yeah.
That's maybe pushing it just a smidge bit here. That round, calculated aggression, utility down banana, B-Wills takes the pick, then they fall away. That's much more calculated control. Cool CS.
Yes.
Now, let's see what they can do as the bulk of the hit is going to be coming through, and it's a very passive setup for Gaimin Gladiators. Carson is all the way back towards spawn. B-Wills is back as well. It looks like they're going to hedge in towards a retake setup, but as I say that, B-Wills makes his way further in. And this could be interesting. B-Wills going to stick around. Does he want to take the fight in pool? No. He'll talk. Support here as well. Carson's still stalled out. Maybe holding a flash for his teammate. Indeed, that flash is going to come through. There's the peak. There's the timing. But B-Wills, what was that? He had him dead to rights. Couldn't finish his food. And while Sloopy smoked to find 2, round that's in doubt. Sloopy can't comfortably plant that bomb, and as he tries to reposition, Carson will finish this round off. A little cleaner there for the Gaimin Gladiators, and upgrades abound as they take their third.
Yeah, it feels like it's only a matter of time until the Gaimin Gladiators make the adjustments, and it feels like it's already happening here. They're being more passive, more patient, kind of making sure the utility is thrown for the quick hits so that they don't come through from Unjustified. And now things have gone back to their pace of play, or at least starting to. Unjustified still have enough money to get the full-on buy here. 4 AKs in the op, and Cyrix, who's been very deadly up until this point for his team, now has the big green in his hands to try and do work with the gun he's used to using. And some nades are going to fly through here up Banana, and a smoke that's thrown quite deep by Unjustified forces the Gaimin Gladiators back. So they won't have that early Banana control as Unjustified just leaves 2 players there, drops the bomb right near underpass, and then sends 3 players up towards alt mid and mid. Hitman's actually already in the window, and just too easy has made his way from the apartments towards Boiler. Cynic's waiting though with the AWP, and he saw the utility get thrown out, so he knows someone is lurking nearby. Flashbang going to blind him, and he takes a shot, but the timing is off. That said, he has support from Jasmine through the smoke, and blinded, finds the frag on just too easy.
That's a recognition from Jasmine that they've been playing a lot of Boiler, just lining it up before the smoke goes down, tapping his way on out, and there we go. There's collecting on the player in apartments as well. That space will be able to be filled by George. He wants to go back for a peek, but as Cyrix is clearing it out, he's scoped in, and he doesn't have the vision. Jaspimp has just about shut down this round. Will JS Feltner do any damage? That's the only question that remains. He's in a 1v5 with 30 seconds to go. And they're backing off. They're not even giving him the fight, recognizing that any single one of their guns is more valuable than anything they can get from him.
All right, JS Feltner does go down at the end of the round, and it's 4 on the board for the Gaimin Gladiators, 3 in a row, in fact. And now Unjustified still have enough money. Man, that run that they were on was pretty crazy.
Dude.
They weren't losing much manpower.
Yeah, I mean, it was 6 rounds in a row, right?
Yep.
And they were running roughshod over Gaimin for the most part. That cash was built up. I mean, if they get a bomb plan here, you even keep going.
Yep.
It's just so tough to break down the attacking economy once it's established, once it's built up.
Oh, look at this.
Cash money.
Quick hit.
Quick hit. The Molotov might slow it down, but no, they're coming in. Do they get the kill? No, George has the lineup. JS Feltner and Hitman not great on the spacing, and that's Unjustified getting caught on out. Now any momentum they had from the faster play is completely shut down. They've lost the engagement and the low manpower. Cynic playing back into it again is going to give up his life as he puts himself in a one and done position where he can't find the one, with no propensity for his teammates to trade. Really, it's been an odd game from Cynic so far. He's looking like pre-tilted.
Yes, that's a good description.
It's odd. So we'll see if he can settle down a little bit. But a lot of these decisions are just very much trying to force the issue. It's like he's got somewhere to be, and he's just trying to get the round done with. You know, just too easy down for the count. It's all on to Sloopy, who at least has the bomb. And if he could maybe isolate a fight with Carson, there's a possibility of a plant there. 30 seconds, though. He's gonna have to make his decision. And it seems like he's still got designs on A.
Yeah, I think the problem also with that play from Cynic is that it isolated Jaspimp and Boost Spot on A's site, and you saw him almost go down. You know, luckily Jaspimp was up to the task, and he ended up getting that frag to leave Sloopy by his lonesome. But you really have to be more aware of the circumstances behind your decision. Sloopy does get that frag on Jaspimp, but Feebles is right there at the apartments to take care of business, and that will be that, a 4th in a row for the Gaimin Gladiators. And Unjustified, they tried at the beginning of the round again, Mike. They tried to go for that quick hit. They found success the first 2 times, but the problem with that is if you don't mix it up enough, if you don't put those delays in enough, eventually the other team's just going to say, well, they're going to push off this, and then it's anticipated.
Certainly getting a bit of the read. So now we see if there's a little bit more depth to the playbook here for Unjustified, what the next hitch is, what the next card to play is. Time for some Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Chain cards, trap cards, magic cards, John. Timeout going to be brief, but what's the play? With the MAC-10, they could stick with the momentum, with the aggression. I'm not sure what they will. One of the things that, I mean, if I were in the minds of the Unjustified camp,
Yep.
When they give a little bit of time, a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room, Gaimin Gladiators have frequently tried to go forth and make that first contact. They've frequently been punished in it. If you can find that punish, that would be huge. Tags on, but nades in exchange. The damage output is about even. They're trading nades. They're playing catch right now at Banana, John.
Yeah. Still taking their time, run justified. Now they will move forward. Flashbang going to get tossed on forward to clear out that half wall position, which has been done. The thing is, Carson heard the flashbang, said, okay, now is a good time to throw this smoke. And then a nade comes through. Does it do damage? Yes, JS Feltner down to 31, so he's feeling the heat right now. That said, he's still got all of his teammates around him. Another nade comes through. It's not JS Feltner to go down. Hitman down to half health. Carson just used too much utility there. Had another piece in his hands. It just really takes him down. Will they expect B-Wills? They do. That's the B site taken. Cynic does manage to connect on one through the smoke. That's Feltner down, but still the man advantage retained here for Unjustified. Looking at that utility, you have a smoke, a flash, and an nade. Need the frags to come through. There's an important one. Jaspim spotting out Hitman. Now you have a 3v3 retake. Positioning is good. George is an important piece. Let's see if he can find Sloopy at the back of Banana, and Sloopy actually diverts his attention away, so now's a good time for George to come in on that flank and do the damage. He's waiting for his teammates to get contact as well, and yeah, George is going to be the key piece. Cynic is going to go down with Jaspimp. Oh no, George the last one standing, and he can't even get anything done. Timing just slightly off there for the Gaimin Gladiators, and Unjustified are back on the board.
Seemed like they had the right ideas, but didn't quite have the execution on the shots. The ground for Unjustified to win. They're quite stabilized for Gaimin. It's there. It's there. The buy will be out. But we're coming to the end of the half, right? We're coming to the close, and Unjustified already finding 7 on presumably their less favored half.
Yeah.
Are in spitting distance of an advantage. We head into the break on this first map. Now, it is important to clarify, this is their map pick. Unjustified have been good on Inferno in the past. But this also poses some interesting questions for Mirage, where Unjustified were phenomenal on Mirage, playing in advanced and into relegation as well. So,
yes,
I think Gaimin are going to be pushed here a lot more than we would have initially anticipated.
Yeah, definitely. Unjustified really are bringing it, especially just too easy. 15-7 right now, pacing the server with that scoreline. I'd be worried. Yeah, if I were Gaimin Gladiators, if Unjustified are able to keep this up and take a win here on their map pick, I would be concerned. Even though, of course, Mirage is Gaimin Gladiators map pick, the confidence has been lackluster as of late on that map because when they played Liquid and, of course, Party Astronauts, they lost very handily. So I think when you get those types of losses back to back, sometimes even when you're up against an opponent that you feel like you should win against, it's not always going to happen because, you know, confidence is such an important thing when it comes to Counter-Strike.
Seems like we've got a little bit of a moment here, but yeah, I mean, certainly is. Let's talk about Just Too Easy, man.
Yeah.
15-7. First match back in Challenger League here. Pretty good numbers, John. 132 ADR, crushing skulls, popping shots, taking a lot of initial duels as well.
Honestly, he's been a solid player in the past when he was in ECL. I think he was on that one-tap squad with Cyrix at one point, so they didn't do too badly when they were on that roster. And I think it just ended up being roster changes that resulted in them no longer being on the squad. So either way, he's looking at entries, right? I think it's usually Cyrix that's going for those 21.1% of the attempts. Yeah, and a 67% success rate there. But this time, Just Too Easy is taking on that role. And, you know, when we look at roles in advanced and relegation, that might not be indicative of what they're going to run in ECL. So things can change and shift. It's going to be very fluid in that regard.
Yeah. What are you most excited for this season, John?
I think what I was alluding to in the intro, Mike, is Godsent.
Yeah.
Getting to see Godsent play in ECL and what they can do here is probably what I'm most excited about, especially that Godsent MIBR potential matchup, if they get to the playoffs, of course. And in this one, Godsent Pain.
Certainly as well. I mean, last season was the MIBR show, right? They ran roughshod over the competition and wound up walking away with that first place prize. But Godsent coming in is an interesting one in the continued Brazilian invasion of North American Challenger League. That Godsent team has been really dang good of late. I mean, we were watching them in the IEM Dallas qualifier, right? And
Yeah.
they were going toe to toe with Complexity, and it was just some crazy series delivered for us. So it is going to be interesting to see what they can do in this season. I also think the Party Astronauts now having more time to gel with Viz, to gel with their complete five, obviously off of their Euro trips as well. I'm very excited to see what that team can do. And then the new additions in for Strife, in for ATK, changes coming through there. It's such an exciting season of Challenger League, man. We've got a buffet of CS laid before us.
Yeah, I think one thing you mentioned, the Party Astronauts. For me, all the experience they gained in Europe and then coming back here, now it's time to show what that has done. It's an important season for them because I think they have to show they can beat the likes of MBR and Godsent in order to get the opportunity to play in Pro League. Because if you can't, obviously they won't get there. But still, my point is that I just was a little disappointed with them, with the way things went in the Dallas Coast qualifiers. So let's see if we can get more from them this season. Anyway, back to this matchup. Just Too Easy is going to get the opener again. On to Cynic again, who is getting a little too aggressive, Mike. So, recurring theme here for the Gaimin Gladiators. Someone's just got to get a rope and hog tie him down onto this A site. I mean, really.
Kinky, John. Getting weird with it early, man. It's only the first game. You got to save that for the late season games. Let's see what Justified are going to do. Once again, given the advantage, sort of gift wrap for them. I mean, honestly, if they just naded the heck out of Bedroom every round, I feel like they'd get a kill from either George or Cynic every single time. Mostly it's been Cynic, but occasionally George has also decided to go for the yeet fight there. So really just a focal point early on here for Unjustified to say, yeah, give us the kills. Now we're at 50 seconds on the clock. They've given the time for Gaimin Gladiators to see if any further aggression would come through. They're going to try and section off this bracket fight. Peebles wants to go through. Indeed, he does. He's been dropped. The trade is there, but it's good for Unjustified. Everything going to be on to George. He's just got a numb. He doesn't even have armor. He doesn't even have armor. He should get chewed through like tissue paper, and indeed he does. Fortunate to get a kill before he went down. Carson is going to be on the back foot, saving. That's an 8th for Unjustified.
Ooh. Great recovery by Unjustified to get back into this one. I did like the pace of their execute towards the A site. They were patient. Obviously, Cynic gives them the man advantage in the first 15 seconds of the round, which is always beneficial. And then they were able to trade out, I think it was Jasmine, right, going into bracket. And after that point, it was free wheeling and free sailing on forward onto that A site. So 8th round going to be secured indeed, and they take the half from the Gaimin Gladiators here on Inferno, and again on their T side, which is not necessarily their strongest, and then they go to CT side. So I don't know. At this point, I have no idea what to expect because the Gaimin Gladiators look super sluggish.
Yeah, almost the opposite is my problem. Is that Cynic looks like he's got too much pep in his step, man.
Maybe Cynic has too much pep, but everyone else.
Yeah,
looks,
transfer it to the rest.
Yeah,
right? Even it out. Even out the energy levels here. Take some of Cynic's urge to fight and maybe transfer it to everyone else. This round, obviously, there's very little to work with apart from Carson's M4, and seeing as Unjustified seem like they're taking some apartments control again, well, it's going to be completely circumvented. This is the right call. This is the right read. It's just going to be a couple of pistols, maybe, to receive them, and they'll have the sight before that fight even comes through. It's just Arch being held by Gaimin, and there's going to be nothing that Gaimin can do into this round. It's pretty much already over.
Yep. Hitman's going to tap away here. He could go down to George's Deagle, but no, George takes a lot of damage, and Sloopy's waiting here to feast on 3 players. Will he, in fact, do so? Well, there's one. Carson does manage to take him down with Jazz Pimp, and that will be Sloopy down for the count. And A1 upgrade there being picked up. But, I mean, outside of that, it doesn't really matter. Unjustified have the round. Admittedly, it was just an eco.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be getting much out of this, to be quite frank. Getting another rifle in an ordinary situation, we'd say, is great. The problem is, there's only 1 round left, and well, they just took their 9th. And This is looking very rough for the Gaimin Gladiators indeed. If double digits can be achieved here for Unjustified coming right off the rip, I mean, that'd be phenomenal for this team. The Op's going to come out. They haven't really approached it on the T side, but Cyrix, you know, they got plenty of money, so he's going to go for it. Why not, right? Have some fun in this final round, and while there will be a full buy up for Gaimin, I really need to see something from them to prove themselves. And let's see what Cynic's going to do early in the round. I feel bad for harping on this, because if you just look at his scoreline, it's not abysmal, but it's just the manner in which he's died so early into most rounds that's really hamstrung his team.
I think it's a perfect example of scoreline does not tell the whole story, because you're right. Like, you could be getting a kill, but if you're going down right away, no one's there for the trade, then it's not worth it, right? Especially on your CT side, because every kill that D side finds is more beneficial to get that early trade for them than it is for the CT. So, all right, we'll see.
Man looks like he's trying to play like Art, and it doesn't work unless you're named Art. It's a very hard style to pull off to that degree. It's frankly a play style that we're more used to seeing Carson employ than Cynic on this roster.
He's traded spots with Jaspimp now, Mike, so he's going to be in Cubby, and Jaspimp's watching the usual spot from lane. So I like that. Good adjustment. Hopefully Cynic stays there. And it looks like he will.
I mean, he's getting slowed down by smoke, certainly. There's the peek. There's the spot. There's the kill. Nicely played from Jaspin from the graveyard. He gets traded, though. Ooh, Hitman with these entries. It's been a quiet half for Hitman, but that's 2 big kills to find, and he's looking for the third as well. Doesn't get that, but sets up Sloopy for it. This is all falling apart. Sloopy even just wants to go. All right. Confidence flowing here, and that bomb's now ticking away as Gaimin Gladiators are staring down the barrel of another disadvantaged retake. They've got util, though. They've got nades. They've got mollies. Make it uncomfortable for him. That nade is good. Hitman out of play. Nice dump by B-Wills. Clear out the pit. It's pressure on. Well, Cyrix is burning. He's still going to hit a shot. It's all on the Carson now. It's all on the Carson. He's dealt with the first, but does he know where Just Too Easy is? He does not at all. He has no idea. No. And he'll back in. He's going to get knifed. He's going to get knifed. His teammates just told him. Just Too Easy was going to go in for the knife, and his teammates said, you know what, let's just secure the round. Don't throw this. Don't get weird with it. We'll see if it gets weird after this break. And we're back here on Justified, starting off with a 10-5 half. Feeling pretty dang good about this one. Double digits in their debut in Challenger League. And they have been punishing a lot of what Gaimin have been trying to do this entire game. Okay, here's an interesting setup. There we go. Just too easy down for the count. Gaimin Gladiators say, you know, we died in bedrooms so many times. It's your turn. It's your turn on Justified. It's your turn. Just too easy. And that setup works out pretty dang well.
Yeah, not too shabby. I think the game Gladiators typically can be a better T-sided team with the type of style they usually like to employ, and they're going to send 4 players into the apartments. One lurking behind at Banana. That's Cynic. And he is just going to throw a smoke to set up his teammates to push on in from the apartments. Good smoke thrown by Cynic, in fact. And now he'll join up with them in a moment. Unjustified were gambling. That Gaimin Gladiators would come to the B site, and that gamble did not pay off, and now they're on the outside looking in. But they did buy up, of course, that body armor. It might be worthwhile just to save it for the next round at this point because they don't have any utility to go for this retake. I mean, they do. They have 2 flashes and a smoke, but again, I think it'd be better served to save that on forward. It is just pistol, though, so it's not necessarily the worst idea to try for the retake, but maybe they're just being very cautious here.
It's an uber conservative call.
Yeah.
It is very funny to see. You just don't very often in a 4v5, but they don't fancy it. And I mean, to some degree, that's just how Inferno plays his map. Here's the flash. Here's the question. Can they keep the pistols alive, though? Time an issue. But he will keep that from being a knife kill, but it is just 1 for 1. So 3 players make it through. That's 2 sets of armor only. Sloopy had the utility instead, but it seems like they're going to force buy in with this equipment available. Mag 7's out. 2 Mag 7s. All right, John. 2 Mag 7s. I am intrigued.
I'm very intrigued. You usually see 1 at most here, but 2, I mean, 1 has to be a Banana, there's no question, and the other one into the apartments, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. So we'll see if Felter can get something done there. Ooh, nice tag from Cyrex, but a better shot from Cynic with the Mac 10. And that means that Gaimin Gladiators have Arch side in their control, a lot of the A site because no one's actually on there, and they're just going to push on through to the A site and guard the flanks to make sure no one else comes through here on the Unjustified side. And at this point, I mean, given that it's a force buy for Unjustified, you might see another 4-man save.
I think the play exits, right? Since you've got those shotties, you want to make that money back. But that was absolutely perfect routing for Gaimin for what they were trying to do, right?
Yep.
You overwhelm the scout. Scout pops off a shot, but it doesn't matter. And you just run him down. You got the sight. Boom. Round's basically over. The question becomes, who's going to get this on the exit? Well, Just Too Easy will not. So that's one of these shotguns down, one of the Mag 7s down, and the threat of it eliminated. Players dropping left, right, and center. JS Feldner get something else with the mag. Ooh, peeking. The hope for the player to be close at hand. There we go. $900 made. Now he'll wait for someone to come through. Don't know that you want to push underpass on him. George, giving away $900. Jaspin will get the kill, but I mean, he just made $1,800 off those 2 kills, so he's sitting pretty on the cash flow.
Yeah, that's enough to buy up another Mag 7.
Hey! Dedicated to the cause.
Yeah, it's not going to be a full-on buy-up anyway, so we had to stay above the 2K mark. So, hey, why not? Why not try to earn a little more cash into this round? The loss bonus is even higher in the next round anyway. But the Gaimin Gladiators off to a decent start here on the T side. Looking to make it 3 in a row and farm a little bit more money potentially. JS Feldner gets one while fully blinded. Cynic is going to be his victim. I think he was recovering right at the end and realized where Cynic was. He does get traded out, but that's another $900 in the bank account. That said, let's see if Unjustified can hold on to the bomb site. Should Gaimin decide to push into it? And George takes down Hitman. Just Too Easy walks into a Molotov down to 25 HP. So easy pickings for George here. And there you go. B site taken. Sloopy's around the corner, but no longer. George is farming the frags. Now 4 on the round. They might try to give him the ace, but it's not going to happen. Carson spots out Cyrex, and that will be that.
All right. Gaimin get onto the T side, and all their ills drip away. Hitting on mass, hitting as a pack, and that works out pretty darn well for this team, right? We sort of talked about at the beginning that there's oodles of individual talent here, and when you can just rock up as a murder squad, you live up to that name sometimes. Let's see, though. The guns are out. Here's the first investment from Unjustified in this half. And we conceded the 3 off of the pistol. It's not perfect, but it's pretty dang good. You can't complain about this one. Now, after throwing out some initial utility, it's going to be a pretty passive setup for Unjustified. They're playing back, right? It's just too easy in Graveyard who'd be that first point of contact if they came out the apartments. Then you have Hitman on the balcony to play off of him. AWP playing Arch. Very straightforward. The only thing that's a little bit of a wrinkle is that Graveyard spot. Let's see if Util comes in for it. They do still have 2 Molotovs. So if this is going to be a Halls pop, which is the way it looks, how are they going to bring it to bear? Smoke's been thrown for that. Could bring the op in to reposition, but can they get pit? That's the big question. One down lane. One down by the hate cart. Just Too Easy cleans that up. Nice kill from Jaspim. Taking full advantage of his smoke. And Just Too Easy, while he'll drop his own, it's going to be really rough if he can't find anything more, but he does exactly that. They can't isolate him. They can't find the angles. That's a disaster. And Jaspim nearly falters, but he doesn't. Nearly is a world of difference from does. Now B-Wills is on the scene. That bomb's going down. The health is minimal. But JS Feltner doesn't seem to fancy his chances, and so he'll just pop off shots and back away.
That is such a great attempt by Just Too Easy. He gets Jaspim, then it's an entirely different round. Jaspim just somehow finding a way to survive long enough for Just Too Easy to get taken down by one of his teammates. But look... Wow. I honestly thought Unjustified were going to get back into this right here with an 11th round, but they fall just short. It took everything Gaimin had just to take that bomb site, and now you're seeing JS Feltner back off with the A1S by his side. Just wants to save that forward, and he absolutely will. I honestly, one thing I thought, Mike, is when Just Too Easy throws that smoke, he got spammed through it down to 15 HP, I think it was. And I was like, oh, he's dead. There's no way. He can't survive any longer. And the fact that he survives after that and gets a kill, oh boy.
He's having a monstrous game. It's a huge part of why they've got the lead they've got right now. He's actually the only player who's positive on a score sheet. I just realized is the second half has not been fruitful for his compadres just yet. They are going to need a little bit more even distribution if they're going to make this work. Boost up onto the half wall for JS Feltner with that one salvaged M4. But they're not going to test it, doesn't seem like. The deep smoke might just lock down Banana for the time being. The taps through confirm where the rifle is. That's interesting. Is Gaimin just going to react onto the other side as a result? Even though you can't see the tracers, you certainly know what gun is putting them out. And indeed, now they'll start to take some brackets control. No commitment just yet from Gaimin. They got plenty of time. There are 4 bodies here and just the 1 rifle towards the other side. And Carson seems like he wants to come take this fight. He's got teammates as well. His barrel just gets spotted. There's the information. And there's the shot. Carson with the entry. Now the site has just about been lost. And that's going to be Gaimin finding the right spot, finding the right damage, taking the gun out of their hands, and with it, the round.
Yeah, bold effort by JS Feltner. Very risky, but he was going for the high-risk, high-reward play, and it just did not pan out. So, with the rifle down, Unjustified will just be looking for perhaps some exit kills. They do have the body armor on Just Too Easy and Sloopy, which might be worth saving, but Just Too Easy is not of that mindset because he's pushing into the B site. He wants to try and find one, and he does indeed. George domed by Just Too Easy's Deagle. Jasmine does get Sloopy, but Just Too Easy's taking a little bit of space here. They don't have the kit, so if they want to try and get this bomb defused, they'll need a very quick play, and it just doesn't happen. It was just an attempt at getting frags at the end because Unjustified had Hitman and Cyrix all the way back towards the A site. So, best case scenario is that Unjustified get a couple of kills and find an upgrade. Worst cases, well, they all die, and they all die. B-Wills gets the last 2, tied up 10-10, 5 rounds in a row here for the Gaimin Gladiators on their T side.
There we go. Off to a racing start here at the Gaimin Gladiators. Guns once again invested into for Unjustified. Last time that A hit got fractitious, but frankly, I think Unjustified maybe got a little bit more out of their defense than you would have expected considering the positioning. So the question is, do you want to keep things stable? Cyrix will get Cynic trying to get aggressive in towards mid. He was racing up mid in a reminiscent performance of his first half, and he'll be punished for it. So Cynic, the first death in this one. I am curious about what his first death statistics will be on this map, because I'm going to guess he's got a lot of them.
At least 5. At
Died at
least.
16. He's died more than anyone on the server.
Well, let's see if it costs his team in this round. Gaimin Gladiators do have full banana control and a lurk towards Boiler. That is George. George could do a lot of damage on the rotate because there are 3 players on this A site. So technically the Gaimin Gladiators have numbers should they choose to route their way to B. And George will get one. That could put the doubt in Unjustified's mind where the hit is going to come. And in fact, even the Gaimin Gladiators aren't sure where they're going to go at this point. Looks like they're deciding on the fly. 48 seconds on the clock as well as they push on forward down mid. And it will be the A site. That's actually an excellent call because Unjustified were sending the reinforcements. But look, wait, no. Cyrix says, okay, hold on a second. I'm not sure they're going to be. And he goes right back to library to support Hitman, Mike.
There's still major pressure on for Hitman, and Hitman has been bullied in the spot before. Nice shot for Cyrix. Hitman needs to live. They're jumping over. He's buying time. Even just him staying alive here allows Cyrix to put more shots down range, and Jazzpimp is holding outside of T-Apps. Jazzpimp crash? Starting to think Jazzpimp crashed.
It's possible.
Crashed. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Very. Unless that's just a glitch on the radar.
I believe, well, someone crashed out. It wasn't Jazzpimp. It was, in fact, George.
All right. Well,
of the Snorts. I decided to keep Jazzpimp alive there on the map. But it does mean that we're going to need a little bit of time, and that's obviously unfortunate for Gaimin. It does set up Unjustified with a round win.
Either way, liked what Unjustified did there. There was an over-rotation, and Cyrix immediately caught himself and said, wait, we didn't see the bomb. We don't know what's happening here. I need to go back in the library. And because he makes that rotation, that split-second decision to come back, he gets 2 frags and prevents Gaimin Gladiators from taking the site. Even without the player that crashed, even without George, I think Gaimin could have taken that round if that rotation doesn't come in.
I think this one's going to be a little minute here, folks. Just hope. This is where I go and check to make sure that CS didn't push an update. I know the Steam Network was down earlier.
Yeah. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, man. Tuesdays are days that haunt me. If you're not familiar, folks, the reason Tuesdays are cursed days is that they're sort of an unofficial update day for Valve and Steam, but it's super unofficial. So it's not, they've never actually said, like, we update servers on Tuesdays, but they almost always do some degree of Steam server maintenance on Tuesdays.
Yes.
And that's usually the day they push CS updates.
Like operations.
But here's the thing. They used to always update on Tuesdays. Then for like 2 years, they didn't. And then they just went back to doing it at some point. Because Valve is inscrutable and impossible to read, and they don't communicate. But it does mean that our Tuesdays are occasionally fraught with peril, because if an update's been pushed and a player drops out of the server, then everything goes to ruin before we can get players back in. Fortunately, I don't think an update's been pushed tonight, John.
I don't think so either. I think we're good to go. I did not see any come through when I launched the game today, so we should be okay. Thing is, one thing that's not okay is Cynic right now. His performance is very lacking at only 9 and 16. We're seeing him make some strange decisions, pushing up aggressively, and when he should be playing more passively, and just leaving without his team in the case, which was the case in that previous round. So I don't know. It's even stranger when you look at his stats, because he's typically very, very good, an extremely talented player. Best fragger on this squad in terms of stats, 451 frags over the last month, 82.1 ADR, and 22 3-kill plus rounds. That includes 3 4Ks and 2 aces. He actually leads the team in both those ADR and frag stats. So I am really not sure what's going on. And one thing I've given Cynic a lot of credit for throughout his career is how dynamic he is and how he can adapt and play pretty much any role in the game. So it's either just an extremely off night or something is going very wrong with Cynic over the past few BO3s.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. We are getting a little bit of a router restart here while we work to get George back in the server. So we're just going to take a quick little breaky poo, folks, and hope that that helps fix his internet. for bearing with us through that slight pause. Are we playing 4v5 or is the HUD? Oh no, the HUD just needs a quick refresh. There we go. There's undefined. There we go. Okay.
We're back.
Made me nervous there for a minute, HUD, but it's all good. We got George. We got everybody. It's no problem. It's no problem. Yeah.
No problem.
HUD just likes to get weird sometimes. Weird with it. What I do know is that right now Unjustified did take a critical round win. Let's see if they can build upon it, though. That's always the allure of the CT side, right? If you can't build upon your round wins, it goes away. It's like the sirens calling you to the shore. This didn't make sense as a metaphor, John. I'm just abandoning this completely.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best, Mike.
Pulling the ripcord. I'm out. Molotov in to section off a player, and it works out nicely. 4 straight into Sloopy. Carson goes down. No potential for the trade as he was isolated. Jaspit, meanwhile, wanted to go on a solo adventure towards brackets, and he, too, has been lost to the sands of time. These 3 players, can they battle back in? Cynic's got the AWP. Maybe he can open things up for the team, but as they try and peek on through, there's 3 players here and a 4th close at hand. It's well set up. A 1-for-1 from Cyrix, but that should be information gained for his teammates, and you can tell they're just trying to wait. Just too easy in Graveyard. Waits his time, and now he's got his kill. A flank on, Cynic flush into his opponent. And that's the round, very comfortably for Unjustified.
Yeah, 2 one-and-done plays by the Gaimin Gladiators, just trying to poke and prod and find some information, but without a player in position to trade either one, that means it's a quick 5v3 in favor of Unjustified, and they do great work using those numbers to isolate the last 3 Gaimin Gladiators players, and really there was nothing they could do because the trades were perfect on the Unjustified side. In particular, that Graveyard position for just too easy has been so lethal, so good to see that continue to work on his part. Cyrix is going to be peeking down mid with the AWP. I believe he got some information. Might have seen the shoulders there of the Gaimin Gladiators. They were peeking around. So he will be able to inform his teammates that the B push is coming, but Carson gets the opener over on Sloopy. That makes it the 5v4, and then Carson drops JS Feltner in a heap. That will give Gaimin Gladiators full control of that B site, and Unjustified, well, might be just falling off this one. Jasmine's got a great position to take that hit, and he spots up the barrel of his gun, and also will spray him down. This round is pretty much over. Great execute by the Gaimin Gladiators.
Yeah, phenomenal one as well. Can these 2 players survive is the next big question. Just too easy trying to go forward, take a little bit more of an aggressive position to maybe keep his upper alive. It's this fight, that's interesting. Just too easy has been dropped as a result. Now the question remains, can Cyrix survive? Next on the chopping block.
Uh-oh.
Not going to hit that one. Now the pressure is on, and Chaspimp will come to collect. So he has, in fact, been chopped. Now the gap closes to just 1. And not only that, but Gaimin Gladiators, well, they keep it clean themselves. It's their turn. So it's going to be a little bit of an eco, it seems, as Unjustified start to buy down towards half. They actually had a lot of spare capital. JS Felner still picking up the mag. Keeping that cash healthy for the future. That's a very conservative buy.
Yeah, they definitely
had a rifle.
could have invested into rifles into this one, but it's okay. Unjustified just want to play a more conservative game.
I mean, JS Feltner could have bought armor, a rifle, and I think still dropped a pistol and still had money.
Yes, he could have.
So
he wants to farm the money, Mike. That's
I get it. Daddy Mag 7 player, I feel it. He's just inspired by his favorite player, Pwn Alone.
Yes.
So let's see what he can do.
Every time there's a mag on Inferno, I think of Pwn.
On any map, really. The Mag 7er himself.
They're
going to Flower Pots boost the Mag 7. Don't know that I love that one, Chief. But okay. See how this goes.
He's going to jump down, Mike, and get a mid-air kill.
Like, how do you... I guess if you hit them right as they're crossing the smoke. But if they're already past the smoke, what do you do?
Well, he might not have to worry about that this round because Gaimin Gladiators are going back to A.
No, he probably won't. The stack is in the wrong place. The stack is in the wrong place. And we'll see if Hitman can live up to his name. Pull off some Agent 47 stuff. Because otherwise, this round's going to be over quick. Anyways, Shotgun playing anti-flash. Pistol does collect. That's an AK that can be found and brought into the next round. But Hitman is about to be overwhelmed. He does connect on one. shouldn't make it very viable to retake into this round, but it does mean that there's at least another casualty out from the Gaimin Gladiators.
Yeah, economy's been kept somewhat in check here by Unjustified, who are still finding the frags here, despite losing that previous round and now this one. And of course, that torrid start by the Gaimin Gladiators, 5 in a row, did feature some nice plays from Unjustified to, again, keep them honest. Cyrix, still waiting here. Sloopy's already got the AK upgrade. Cyrix wants one as well, maybe even an op. Cynic is going to go down, and Cyrix looking for the headshot on George and gets it too. That's an op upgrade for free. Cyrix going to hightail out of here, but B-Wills is waiting on the other side. A little too far for Cyrix. Didn't figure that B-Wills might be there, and of course B-Wills was waiting in the perfect spot. No op saved over. Exciting for a moment, at least. Unjustified would have had a much better economy off of that saved op, but it doesn't happen. They still get an op. They still have full utility. Not that big of a deal.
They got plenty of cash. It's not going to be a big issue. They got the AK safe through as well. Obviously, limit Gaimin Gladiators a little bit, forced out a bit more of a reinvestment. Not so punishing here in this half, but let's see if the Gaimin Gladiators can pull into a lead. This is what has eluded them this next round. If they can crack through here, right? Economic back foot for Unjustified, lead taken for Gaimin, and despite this being a shakier map than we expected for Gaimin, we start to become much less worried. As it is, they're taking some bedrooms control. Unjustified have not shown a lot of aggression towards A in a long time. So Gaimin are very comfortable taking this space, taking this initial posturing towards brackets, and yeah, they've got it for free. You got Just Too Easy tucked in towards the cubby. There's a player just on the other side, but Carson's looking for this. So smoke to isolate this fight. Cyrix can hit a hit shot elsewhere, but Carson clears out the cubby. And there we go. Now pressure on for the players in sight, and they're actually wrapping their tendrils around the library. Big kill for B-Wills. Now they've got the map section off, and they're just going to leave. George even gets another one to make this all that much better, and while Carson is cleaned up, this is interesting. It actually pulls the players back over. I was going to say they're going to head on to a vacant B site, but they don't know. They don't know. Should know Cyrix is here. That shot misses, and now Cyrix might just be a dead man. And indeed, he is. So they go with the known quantity on towards A, and they pull straight into first.
I really like that play and timing from Carson. The smoke off the wall while he's up close next to Cubby to isolate library player as soon as it blooms. Simultaneously, in fact, he peeks around the corner, clears out Cubby with a perfect headshot, and then immediately hightails it through Arch side to try and isolate the library player on the other end, who's facing off against a Molotov from B-Will. So overall, great execution from the Gaimin Gladiators to earn that space, and then afterwards Carson does get caught out, but still, I mean, he did the work to allow his team to push onto that A site pretty much free and clear. Timeout going to be called, I assume, here by Unjustified to talk things over because things are starting to slip away from them. But 13 rounds for the Gaimin Gladiators, and they are going to take their first lead, Mike. Or I should say first lead since it was 1-0 after the pistol round.
That's true. Bonkers to think about.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I will say Unjustified, regardless of how this one ends up, have impressed me here to a certain degree, because you never know how teams are going to fare against a team with a firepower like the Gaimin Gladiators as their first match in Challenger League. JS Feltner catches that name in his teeth, and he'll go chasing. 5-7 can't connect, but the P9 does a little bit more. One and done. With the approach towards B looking promising, Gaimin Gladiators might just be knocking on the door of the right site. Does George get caught here? Get caught? Yes, he does. Cyrix hits the shot. That's a rifle now found. If they want to snag it, but no, they're already adjusting. Pressure being felt on towards B. Sloop. B is calling for his teammates, but he hits a ripper of the dig. And now with comrades on the way, he can't hold on. Good damage from the MP9 for Hitman. And Cyrix has found this rifle. There's a kit right in front of him as well. Get the kit, get the kit, get the kit. Got the kit. Looked like he was going to dodge it.
I don't think there's a way to miss it, right? Hopefully.
Yeah. He looked like he was going to dodge it, but he didn't. And now the play right through. Now they spot the last. Jaspin's position known. Flashes to try and give himself a bit of a fight, but he needs to buy time. And there's just too much time to ask of him. They're going to play together. Jaspin has to shoot his way out. He has to do it. And as they start to wrap around at some point, the spam's going to come through. Cyrix is trying to spot so his teammate can spam, and Cyrix will get the kill himself. So what a way to salvage the round here for Unjustified to keep it tied up. They have very little coming into this.
Wow. That's impressive. That's just a half buy that came through there. They were just trying to wait for their rifles to come through, and then a couple of nice deagle shots. And of course, Cyrix cleaning up the last two at the end was great. But that shot from Sloopy, who's improving himself to be quite proficient with the deagle, my goodness, that's the difference maker, because it allows Unjustified to get a little more time in their rotation and catch some spam through the smoke to soften up the Gaimin Gladiators for that retake. And they pull it off. All right, not done yet. Are Unjustified here, tying it up once more, this time at 13-13. JS Feltner is priming that HE. He's going to toss it on forward soon. And there it goes, flying away into the abyss, because it doesn't connect on anyone, as the Gaimin Gladiators already backed off, and they are not aggressing towards Banana just yet. But they have gained a lot of space into bracket here. 3 players, in fact 2, already ready to push out. They decide to fall off for the time being. And there's a Halls player, that is Jasmine, making sure no one tries to be cheeky on the Unjustified side and push on through, which they really haven't been too much, right? Unjustified playing a very passive and conservative T side versus the Gaimin Gladiators, who continue to poke and prod round after round. Cynic comes to mind, of course. But as of right now, Gaimin Gladiators aren't getting anything for free, that's for sure.
It is actually interesting how far back Unjustified have gone.
Yep.
Right. I mean, early on, we were seeing some aggression down Banana, just to take that initial space, right? Maybe a little bit of a poke in the bedroom.
Right.
Not much in a while. Now, this is going to be interesting. Gaimin seem to have figured this out. Found the right read. Cyrix missing that shot. Might have missed his opportunity as well.
Miss.
He has to focus in, and he's not going to hit that either, which puts so much pressure on the JSL. He has to come around to try and get this kill, and while Cyrix will eventually clean it up, they've lost their B-side anchor. They've lost their sentinel. If a smoke goes through, there is no smoke. Uh-oh. Now Cyrix will have a few more chances to shoot, and he's going to punish them for it. Without that cross smoke, this op can feast, and they can't even recover the bomb. The rotations are coming through. They hear these footsteps. No, it doesn't matter. Cyrix is just killing everybody. One more player remains just on the B-Wills, and that is going to be the time expiring. That one smoke costs them everything. B-Wills just escapes getting clocked.
Whew. I mean, that would have been terrible for B-Will. So not too bad. I mean, he had 3450 in his bank account, but dying after time still wouldn't have been a nice thing for him to experience. Match going to be paused again as Unjustified retake the lead, 14-13. This one's going down to the wire potentially if the Gaimin Gladiators win this round. Of course, it definitely will. But wow. I mean, I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. The way Unjustified have pulled off their defense, they've never really felt like they were out of this match at all.
No, and it feels like every time they hit one of those critical swing rounds, they pull it out of the hat. Yeah. Right? Whether it's a partial buy or a full buy or what have you, whether they've got the advantage, whether Gaimin seemed to be picking the right site. I mean, in that round, up until I realized there was no cross smoke, it looked terrible for Unjustified.
It did.
Right? Some big misses for Cyrix. They lose their lone side anchor, but they just can't cross the bomb safely. And then once the bomb gets dropped further towards the offer, it's just kind of over. Cynic's not dead to the HE. It looked like it might have him there. But the bomb did go down early, and we did finally see that aggression come out from Unjustified after they'd strayed away from it for a while.
Yeah, finally do make a bit of a push, and the armor did save Cynic from the HE grenade there. Either way, still barely alive with 6 HP, and it's not exactly a great buy up here for the Gaimin Gladiators. Unjustified looking to get on to 15. Cynic, along with Carson, will likely be making their way up Banana, and here they come. Unjustified have Cyrix with that op, who was quite effective in the previous round. Missed an important one, which cost JS Feltner his life, but still made up for it afterwards, of course, getting 2 players, right? So it wasn't too bad. And here we go. He continues to make up for it.
It absolves you of your sins, right? Washes them away. Yeah. And now, with the op showing itself, this is going to be the trick. They've got to get past this AWP if they're going to get on towards the site. But there's still Hitman lurking in the corner. And since Hitman's mostly been the pit player, they really might not expect him here.
Nope.
Oh, and one, and the bomb denied, and Hitman comes away with a 3K. Nice little nifty bit of shooting there for Hitman, and that's map point secured for Unjustified Gaming. One more of the next 2 needed.
It feels like Hitman just gets multi-kill rounds and then nothing for a while, and a multi-kill round.
I mean, hey, he's clutch. He only gets kills when they're clutch. Only impact frags. That's like me. I'm that way, John.
Oh,
only impact
yes.
frags. Totally.
I think you'll have to prove that to me, Mike.
Totally. Definitely. Don't worry about it. Go look at my open statistics from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. God, how long has it been?
A while. Just too easy. Is going to get one onto George here, Mike, but B-Wills trades it out immediately.
That's the only player towards B.
Yes.
They left him alone. They left him completely on his lonesome. Not even a player close to the rotation. And that means it's a free and clear site for Gaming. This is going to have to be a full retake. And considering Gaimin was super limited on the utility, this is a blessing. Now Jaspim gets one further. Just too easy down for the count. He's looking for more in terms of the fight. He gets the op shot, then goes back to the rifle. Oh my goodness, Unjustified. Leaving a vulnerability, and Gaimin Gladiators take advantage. They kick in the door towards B. And it seems like Unjustified just wants to keep them towards the sites. This is interesting. It's less about saving their own money, I think, and more about taking as many guns out of Gaimin's hands as they can.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm just surprised to see that call come through because, you know, you have enough money to buy up in the next round, even if you would lose this one. So instead, they just want to try and damage the economy of the Gaimin Gladiators, which, I mean, to an extent, they should be able to. There's Hitman here at the back of Banana. Damage done by the bomb there against Gaimin, but no, the only ones to take damage there. On to round number 30, and Mike, I think Unjustified. No, okay. I thought for a second we ran into that weird Go TV issue.
No, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
We're good. We're good.
All good. All good.
It
You
scared
saw
me.
nothing, folks. You saw nothing.
Had flashbacks.
Flashbacks indeed. Where are they going to go, the Game of Gladiators? Looking for overtime here. Searching for it. Pressure on for Unjustified. They're going to go back towards B. It worked last time. Why not? Why not this? There's no op here, but they're also not contesting Banana in the slightest. It's going to be Sloopy and JS Feltner who need to hold the line. Sloopy's got the util. He's the Coffins player. If he gets his bell wrong, all those nades are useless. Better come out quick if they're going to. They're already past. They're already past the choke points. Those nades much less effective now, and he's getting run down. Aggression from Carson. Jumps his way around the corner, popping on the movement. That's a huge kill to find. So now JS Feltner's stuck here with no HEs, no flashes, no nothing. Teammates flash for him, give him a chance to compete. They're trying to for sure, but he's losing all those teammates, and it's down to just one. Hitman, he needs the biggest multi-kill, and he cannot get it. We're going for more. We'll be back. Well, we couldn't figure things out in regulation between these two teams. They need a little bit more. Unjustified, securing map point, couldn't find either of the last 2 rounds. Now Gaimin get a chance to right their wrongs in overtime. John, the momentum, I would say, is distinctly in their favor.
Oh yeah, it was a very, very convincing round victory in round number 30 for them. Didn't look too fussed at all. Shots were hitting, and it was the Gaimin Gladiators there that we expected to see, to be honest, throughout the entirety of this match and their T side. So let's see if that carries over into overtime. Hitman gonna toss a nade on forward. He ends up eating a nade, going down to 66, and JS Feltner also takes utility damage. That Molotov tags him down to 56. That's Hitman a little bit more. Feltner gonna toss some more utility back towards the Gaimin Gladiators and ends up getting the hedge on the bomb delivered at his feet. George going for an entry by his lonesome with the bomb. The worst decision you could possibly make, and just too easy, and JS Feltner rack up 2 more. Well, I guess I cast or curse Gaimin Gladiators there. Round's not over yet, but Carson is going to get 1 through the wall. They're not done yet, Mike. They're not done.
No, certainly not. Dropping the bomb early does make life very difficult, but got a chance to get in towards site. That's an interesting ogle for B-Wills. I don't know if that smoke helps Sloopy as much as you might think. B-Wills has already passed it. No, he's giving it up. Never mind. It's all good. 30 seconds. Can't really back away. It's got to be A. And indeed, it is fast in. Sloopy's got 1. He's got 2 as well. And Sloopy will shut this round down. There's the round Unjustified needed in regulation. Well, they get it here in extra time.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I just shouldn't say anything more about how the Gaimin Gladiators are doing. 16-15 in favor of Unjustified, and they're going to try and take another one here at the 17th, potentially, with the 3 A1Ss, the AK, and the op. Just too easy. Immediately tosses that Molotov down mid. And now, well, not much damage going to be taken on the Gaimin Gladiator side. In fact, Cynic getting the opener on Cyrix, who went for a re-peek down mid. And now the op going to be recovered by Just Too Easy, who has been the hot hand, but Cyrix has really been heating up over the last part of that second half. Hitman's got a good angle here, but no! Cynic ends up getting the shot and connecting for the frag. Just Too Easy is recovering with the frag onto Jasmine, then could get the second one. Maybe the 3K, misses the shot and lets George get into that bomb site. Still, Unjustified almost giving themselves a man advantage there thanks to some nifty op work from Just Too Easy. But now the Gaimin Gladiators do have a path forward into the A site. They just have to get that bomb there.
This is an interesting spot. Okay, JS Feldman did in fact get seen. He gets the kill though, so he evens up the numbers. I was going to say if he got through unspotted, I don't know that they would have been expecting the lane. Instead, the information had given over.
He's
and if Sleepy and JS Feldner will attempt this retake. Molotov eliminates 1 spot, though it goes into a smoke, so don't know how much that's going to be. Ooh, good shot for George. Had to get it on the peak, knew they were coming, and he's got the second as well. Goes above this smoke to finish things off. And that's nicely played from George. A risky round for sure for Gaimin, but they managed to take it in the post.
Yeah, definitely got riskier towards the latter part where Just Too Easy got those 2 op frags, but they did manage to recover it, and once they had a hold of that site, did not rescind it, thanks to some great shots from George. All right, tied up 16-16, final round of the first half of the first OT here. B-Wills tossing some utility down banana for that fight, and Unjustified not really returning the favor too much. They just want to have JS Feltner holding with the op. In fact, I don't think we'd seen a double op setup up until this point coming through from Unjustified, and JS Feltner felt like now was the time to whip it out. Cyrix over on the A site, watching from lane towards mid. Smoke gonna get tossed to block up his ability for the Gaimin Gladiators. Yeah, that's a bit of a flub to the Molotov. It hits the face of Carson and just lands right at his feet, so he has to back off a little bit as JS Feltner actually throws his own Molotov into a smoke. So some flubbed utility here up and down on both sides, but neither too worse for the wear. Still 5v5, Mike, and 1 minute left on the clock.
Nothing like bottling your teammate in the face to really stall out a util set. Bum's obviously not committed either way. This looks like it wants to be a split in towards B, but it's a pretty good setup for Unjustified to deal with that. There's a gap in that smoke. So spotted. 35 seconds. They got to go if they're going to go. And it does seem like they are going to go towards B. That's going to be the decision. They've left one player, Arch, who's now going to make the move. That'll be Jazzpimp. But it might be a little late to do so. Cyric's not expecting the wraparound. They've gone quiet on it. That could be a blunder. Who spots? Jazzpimp gets the kill. Now it's uncomfortable for the players in sight. That's a bit of a blunder for just too easy. Getting nothing for the flower pots, and it's all falling apart. Sloopy, the only player who can do anything here, and while he will deny the plant, it's not enough. Still plenty of time to get this bomb down, and everything's on to the Hitman. It's been 3Ks before for Hitman, but I don't know that he's ever done them in the retake. This would be a bigger ask. He's creeping forward, John. He's creeping forward. What's he gonna do? Should be a triumvirate of pain. And Jasmine won't even need his teammates to help him out there.
Yeah, no 3K this time for Mr. Hitman. But Gaimin Gladiators will retake the lead. Again, 17-16 in their favor. Trying to close this one out with 2 of the last 3 remaining rounds in overtime required to go their way to end it and send it on over to their map pick of Mirage. On Unjustified side, as we talked about, just too easy has been the hot hand. Cyrix has really started to pitch in with the big green, but they've stalled out a little bit on their T side in particular, or excuse me, CT side in particular, towards the latter part of regulation and then into overtime, despite a pretty impressive round victory in the opening OT round. But after that, Gaimin Gladiators really started to abuse them.
Experience starting to come to play, right? Gonna waver initially despite some questionable decision-making in the first half, right? They settle in. And, I mean, we've always known the Gaimin Gladiators are a potent T-side team, right? Just plays into the things they like to do, play with violence, momentum, aggression. My question is going to be, are those same issues that we saw in regulation going to rear their head here in OT? That's what I want to know. And I think we're going to find out incredibly quickly, John. Because we're going to find out if Gaimin rushed somebody into bedroom in this first round.
Yes, there's no doubt. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe they can get away with it this time if they choose to do it, but I'd rather they not.
If I'm Unjustified, I've got 3 nades trained on that bedroom window. Or just an op. Just an op, right? The peek's going to come through. It's worth spending the first 30 seconds of the round just waiting to punish if it happens.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, full money now, of course, since we're in OT, the full 16K, so you can buy whatever the heck you want in every single round. Utility being tossed on the ground there, and
Cynic. Like a moth to the flame.
He looks
like a moth to the
up
flame. He's either going mid or he's going bedroom. He's so ready. He's so ready for this peak. It's going to be a mid peak. All right, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. They're not doing it. And a D Molotov as well means they can't take the bedroom peak. So Unjustified actually didn't commit to punishing it if it did come through, because George could still have done it, and George has done it before. But with Cynic not going for it initially, it tells me that maybe Gaimin recognized they were a little reckless in that first half, and they just want to seal the deal here.
Yeah, Gaimin Gladiators went back to the same setup they had at the end of the first half, with Cynic playing towards Cubby instead of Jazzpimp and being more passive again as a result, so that's good. No one going down early for the Gaimin Gladiators, but all 5 players for Unjustified push onto the B site. Carson up to the task, but he's lost his reinforcements. Tosses a nade on 4. They're going to jump up top. He's not going to expect this one, and he does get Goomba stomped by Hitman. That means that Unjustified have 4 players alive here for this plant up against here for the Gaimin Gladiators. The thing is, Sloopy, Hitman, and Cyrix are all hovering at or below half health, so a nade could be useful here. Unfortunately for Gaimin Gladiators, doesn't really connect. And now they only have 3 flashes and a smoke left, but they're still going to go for this one, of course, because no reason not to in overtime. Let's see if they can connect with some shots. Cynic peeking towards New Box. As the op crosshair lined up, and he gets tagged but not killed. That leaves an opening for Jaspim and George, and they use it so wonderfully. That's a 3K now. Only Sloopy left standing. He's got to pop up and get 2 more. Can he do it? There's the second and the third. Sloopy with the 1v3 clutch to keep them alive.
The best part is he had already won it. He had already won it on time. He just had to live. He had to take that first kill and live, and he did exactly that. Beautifully played from Sloopy, both in terms of the discipline to not peek out while his teammates are fighting, and also obviously the gunmanship is nice. But he had already won it by that point, right? He'd already
Yes,
forced
true.
the issue, and that's just a nice bit of play from Sloopy. So well done. A little bit of savvy patience that you don't always see in high pressure scenarios from players with their first time in Challenger League, right?
Definitely. Yeah, it's first match.
It's a maturity that we do like to see. Just Easy has been maturely eliminated. He did. He did. It's a nice pick from Cynic, who is once again backing away. This time not sticking around too long in the apartments. And I really do like the discipline that's being shown by Cynic. It is in contrast. It's not nothing extraordinary. It's what he should be doing. It's just in contrast to what he was doing in the first half of regulation. Just being calm.
The thing is, I don't know if he's necessarily happy about doing this, because even when he's being calm, they're not winning rounds on CT side. So, well, let's hope they can convert soon enough.
I mean, it was a 3v1 in the last one, right? It came so close to it.
Yeah. They honestly should have had that one, but it was a great clutch by Mr. Sloopy. 40 seconds left now, and Unjustified are going to have to make their play. Good Molotov thrown by Carson to lay them further. There's a smoke to defuse it, and they've already thrown one for CT, so if they go quickly, they get into the site without having to worry about the cross.
Yeah, there's been no audio cue. Now they get the tip off. The rotation is on. The flank down Banana as well. B-Wills has a huge first kill, and he does a ton of damage
So
to
much
set up
damage.
more. Oh, that was Carson with the damage. B-Wills with the finishers. 2v3. It's not a great situation, but Hitman will make it a bit better. He's been clutch for this team, but that bomb's down, and George just kills everybody. So George leaves no doubt. Won't even wait for his teammate to get that retake going. Just does it himself and secures map point now for the Gaimin Gladiators.
Wow. It's been very back and forth in the OT. And that time, they could have gone either way, right? Because Unjustified were very careful with the way they approached, didn't really give any audio cues. And Gaimin Gladiators just on point, doing so much damage to the oncoming players that they were just ripe for the picking afterwards, and that was it. So here comes the last round of the first OT. Is it the end of OT, or is it going to be a sign of things to come, this back and forth play, right? Does it mean that we're going to go into double OT? Unjustified certainly have proven, if anything, that they're no slouches here coming into this season of Challenger League, Mike.
Hops, skips, jumps, smokes, flashes. Yes, I mean, I certainly. And this is still a best of 3, right? This is the first map.
Yes.
This is the first map. I know we're almost coming up on 2 hours into the series. This is one map. We had a nice long tech pause, because of course we did, to kick off the NA Challenger League season. This is still map 1. And if Unjustified can close it here, we might be getting more in map 1.
Mike, there's a gamble stack here from
Yeah,
GG.
they're going to the right side. It's just Carson here. He does have a molly and a smoke, though. As soon as he detects presence, he can slow things down. He's waiting with that Molotov in hand. And here comes the execute. So the molly's going to go down. The molly's going to go down. They're already past it. It's a little bit late. It's a little bit slow. He throws out his nade stack. That site's been lost.
Maybe he can find something here.
No, he's going to play retake. Spam's not terribly effective now. It's bombed down in a 5-on-5 retake. This is spicy. There's no more utility really for Unjustified. They're just going to try and do it with guns. And while there are flashbangs for Gaimin, they don't have any mollies to clear out the corners. But if JFL just wanders out of his corner, that'll make it a little bit easier. Trades are there. It's getting messy. They got to go on the time. But it's working out. It's all on the Cyrix. Can he hold the line with a bomb? No, he cannot. That's going to be the game. That's going to be the win for the Gaimin Gladiators.